Donald Trump's explosive claim that the US subsidizes Canada by over $100 billion annually has shaken headlines.
We're subsidizing Canada to the tune of over $100 billion a year.
The United States is subsidizing Canada.
As I called him Governor Trudeau, I said, listen, what would happen if we didn't subsidize you? Because we give them a lot of money. It's very unfair.
What if I told you that the United States does not subsidize Canada, but instead profits from its relationship with its northern neighbors? Stick around, because what we uncovered today will surprise you and might just make you question everything about cross-border trade policies. Let's rewind to December 2024, when Trump made a jaw-dropping statement. The US subsidizes Canada more than $100 billion a year. He used this claim to justify imposing steep tariffs on Canadian imports. For anyone who's been paying attention to US-Canada trade relations, this statement does not just raise eyebrows, it demands scrutiny. Canada, a country known for its vast natural resources, technological innovations, and a global reputation as a fair trade partner, is subtly painted as a financial parasite. The narrative seems fishy, especially considering how intertwined and mutually beneficial the economies of these two nations truly are. Today, we are diving deep into the numbers, debunking Trump's rhetoric, and revealing how this misinformation could disrupt the lives of millions on both sides of the border. Breaking down the $100 billion Trump's claim suggests that the US loses $100 billion annually due to its relationship with Canada. But let's get one thing straight. Subsidy is not the right word here. This $100 billion figure likely stems from a US goods trade deficit with Canada, which was $53.5 billion in 2022. Even if we include services where the US has a surplus, the net number do not come close to $100 billion. Here's the kicker. Trade deficits are not subsidies. They are a result of consumer demand. Americans buy Canadian oil, lumber, and goods because they are cost-effective and essential. Blaming Canada for fulfilling this demand is like blaming your favorite coffee shop for your morning caffeine addiction. The reality of US-Canada trade. The economic partnership between the US and Canada is one of the most balanced and mutually beneficial in the world. Here is what the numbers reveal. In 2022, trade between the two nations totaled at $908.9 billion. That's nearly $1 trillion flowing between two economies that rely on each other. US export to Canada. The US exported $427.7 billion in goods and services to Canada. This supports millions of American jobs. Canadians' foreign direct investment. Canada invested $589.3 billion in the US compared to $438 billion in the reverse direction. If anyone's getting subsidized, these numbers suggest the US benefits more from Canadian investment. Energy dependencies. Canada is the largest supplier of crude oil and natural gas to the US. Do you think American consumers would appreciate skyrocketing energy prices if this trade stopped? Trump's tariff threats are less about economic realities and more about rallying his base. His narrative, Canada is taking advantage of us, ignores the actual dynamics of trade and focusing on messing up the nationalist sentiment. But let's be clear, tariffs on Canadian goods won't just hurt Canada. They will hurt American consumers too. Tariffs drive up prices, reduce choices, and strain industries that depend on cross-border supply chains. The auto industry, for example, relies heavily on parts and materials flowing freely between US and Canada. If Trump tariffs moves forward, expect higher prices for goods like cars, lumber, and energy, job losses in industries tied to Canada, a domino effect impacting millions. Strained relations with one of America's closest allies. Let's flip the script. If Canada were truly a burden, Why does it contribute so much to the US economy? Tourism and travel. Canadians spend billions annually visiting the US. This supports American hospitality and retail industries. Innovation and collaboration. Canada's AI research and tech startups often partner with US firms, driving innovation across borders. Energy security. Canadian oil ensures stable energy supplies for Americans. Imagine the chaos if that pipeline shuts down overnight. Canada is not a freeloader. It's a reliable partner. Ignoring this reality risks jeopardizing a relationship that has benefited both nations for decades. Why Canada should not back down if Trump tariffs proceed? Canada must stand firm. Historically, Canada has weathered trade disputes with resilience. Remember the softwood lumber tariffs? Canada adapted, diversified its markets, and emerged stronger. This situation could be no different. Diversification. Canada has already begun reducing its dependencies on the US by expanding trade with the EU, Asia, and South America. Retaliatory tariffs. Canada could impose its own tariffs on American goods, targeting politically sensitive industry. This isn't ideal, but would send a strong message. Energy leverage. As a major supplier of energy, Canada holds a trump card of its own. One it's rarely had to play but should not hesitate to consider if pushed. What's really at stake here? Beyond economics, this dispute threatens the long-standing friendship between Canada and the US. We are talking about two nations that share the largest undefended border in the world, a rich history of collaboration, and deeply intertwined families and communities. This is not just about dollars and cents. It's about cooperation and mutual respect, values that should never be sacrificed for political reasons. The real question: Trump's claim that the US subsidizes Canada is not just wrong, it's dangerous. It undermines a partnership that has benefited both nations for decades. It's a distraction from real issues and a play for populist support at the expense of truth. Canada must remain vigilant, stand tall, and continue to advocate for fair and balanced trade. Because if there is one thing history has taught us, it's that integrity and cooperation always win in the end. So, what do you think? Is Trump's rhetoric justified? Or is it another case of political smoke and mirrors? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to spread the truth. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.